whenever you want. Just go to your chart section. So there you will see recorded lecture. So that lecture you can see how many times you want. If you want, I will upload in the YouTube also. All right. So coming to the introduction of ethics. Before introduction, I want to tell something called euthanasia. A really challenging and most a very complicated situation. So euthanasia means, do you know any idea about euthanasia? Have you heard about euthanasia, students? A really sensitive issue in medicine. Okay, I want to tell a story to you. Listen very carefully. I'm giving you an extraordinary situation. So in the last time we discussed one situation where a wife bring a unconscious husband to the lab, right? So the husband is unconscious and he's by profession he is a law practitioner, and he stated in his chest that don't. Also wife also not supporting for treatment of the husband. So at this time we need to take a right decision and we will proceed even if the wife is not considering, and even the patient said he don't want treatment, but still we need to protect his life as an individual right. Right. So there we will proceed for treating the patient no matter whatever situation it is. Sometimes we may bypass some of the ethical laws in order to protect someone. But now a very challenging situation where the patient is in a coma state. Patient is in a coma state, a permanent coma state. He is unable to wake up. For since last 4 years, the patient have not woke up. A deep coma state. A patient is in a deep coma state, and the only way he is surviving is by giving saline, by keeping ventilation, by medical support only he is surviving. But his family was struggling a lot in order to keep him alive. In order to keep the coma patient alive, they're spending lakhs of money per month. But at one situation, they are so financially destabilized that they don't have any more money in order to keep the patient alive. Although the patient is in coma, but still, as a human, we cannot kill someone, right? We cannot say goodbye to our beloved ones when we are seeing his heart beating in front of us. What you will do, students, at this situation? Their family don't have money, and your hospital management won't agree these things. You too don't have these kind of policies to keep someone alive with their free donations. The only thing that we have is we need to kill the person. Will you agree to kill a person? Will the human rights and ethics allow us to kill someone?
No, sir.
Then what we need to do in this situation? Because of him,
Shift the patient.
we need to kill the patient.
Shift the patient to other hospital.
Hmm. Heat the patient? I'm not getting you, I'm sorry.
Shift the patient to the other
Shift.
hospital.
Oh, okay. Shift the patient to another hospital. To what
Yes, sir.
hospital? How long? How long?
The nearby hospital who can help, sir, will contact other doctors. Will try to contact who will help.
Yeah. See, one student, Abhishek, said we can kill the patient. Can I kill him? If will you agree if I say, okay, now the another challenging situation. Now that another challenging is if we can't save him, we can kill him. That is what one Abhishek trying to say. Yeah, the other situation is uh, the family also said, sir, family member saying to the doctor, sir, please end his life. We can't, we no more, we can't, we no more support the patient. We are really sorry. We want to end the patient life.
No, sir. We have
And
to save.
we have to save, right? So yeah, this is an extraordinary case which is happened to one girl. So I want to tell a story about Miss Aruna Shanbag case. So she is Miss Anurag Shanbag. So this is an actual image which I took from Wikipedia. So she's a nurse by practice. So by profession, she's a nurse. So when she's doing her regular duty in the ward, so keep in mind she was born on 1948. So when she was 22 years old, I think it will be around 1960. So in around 1962, when she is doing her regular nurse work in the ward, the nearby floor cleaning guy, he sexually assaulted our nurse in a brutal way. The floor cleaning wala strangled her neck with a rope. So she was deficient with oxygen and he had sexually assaulted her at this situation. That resulted in a brain, lack of oxygen to the brain. So her brain went to a state called vegetative state. There is a difference between coma and vegetative state. Coma means completely these persons won't respond to the treatment or they won't even respond no matter whatever we are doing. They won't have any neural activity in their brain. If you take a MRI scan of a brain a brain dead person or coma patient, you won't see any neural activity within the brain. But in case of vegetative state, a frequent activity of the brain can be seen. So this is a really challenging situation. She is not in a coma to kill her. She is not a brain dead patient. She's still showing some signs of brain activity, but she's not responding at all. The only thing that the hope is there is some neural activity in her brain. Days are going by. It is in 1962. She went to vegetative state. They waited for 1 week, 1 year, no response from the patient. They waited for 2 years, no response from the patient. They waited for 10 years, still Miss Anurag is on the bed. They waited for 15 years, no response. They waited for 20 years, no response. So her best friend, she appealed to the Supreme Court of India for killing her. It is something called mercy killing. Mercy killing is a legalized way of killing someone. A doctor assisted killing. So she kept a plea in the Supreme Court to kill Miss Anurag life. In 1998, Supreme Court not even allowed to end her life. The Supreme Court, just like there also judges are there, and they also started discussing on human ethics and values and human individual rights. Who are we to kill someone? So the case is prolonged. The case prolonged so long. It is 5 years in the Supreme Court. Still there is no response from the Supreme Court. And Supreme Court strictly, after 5 years, Supreme Court given a strict order. There is no euthanasia can be done for this patient. They said euthanasia is not legal in India. Once again, Miss Pinky is her friend and a journalist. So she fought for a very long time. And by the year 2015, Supreme Court has given a judgment. After 15 years, Supreme Court have given a judgment stating legalizing a passive euthanasia. Passive euthanasia means killing someone. Right? That is called mercy killing. Euthanasia means mercy killing. And yes, now in India, passive euthanasia has been legalized. Only in few countries, only in 4 countries across the world legalized euthanasia, and India is one of the country. For getting approval for this passive euthanasia, you need to satisfy a hell lot of documentation and a hell lot of proof to show that the patient is no more responding. So a really victory, a huge applause to Miss Pinky. So it's a 15 years long struggle from Supreme Court, and in the Supreme Court has given approval for killing her. So this is called euthanasia. So yeah, this is the neural activity of a normal person, a brain dead person, and a vegetative state. So this is a brain dead patient brain, whereas this is a vegetative brain. So in the vegetative brain, still you can see some neural activity, but that is why that is a major problem with vegetative state. This is not complete dead. This is not a complete lack of brain activity. There is still something on in her brain. Maybe she's not speaking with us. Maybe she's not responding physically, but she may be psychologically active. Who knows? She may dreaming. Who knows? She may listening all our words. How can we kill her? So that is why the Supreme Court waited for a long time, because it is like just like killing a living person. The data shows that she's alive. Anyway, Supreme Court has taken a really no a milestone judgment from Supreme Court. So now we have passive euthanasia has been legalized across the country, at least in India. So that is called euthanasia. So for this, they waited for so long. So ethics plays a very vital role, students. So sometimes there are challenging situations where we need to really consider once again about ethics. Sometimes we need to bypass ethics for a common good. Maybe the common good, sometimes it may not benefit the individual, rather than they may benefit the family members, or they may benefit the one who is alive currently, or the one who is dependent. So that's it. So that is called euthanasia. So by this, you may get some idea about the importance of ethics in medicine. So yes, by March 2018, euthanasia has been legalized by India. There are only 4 countries that are legalized euthanasia. The other countries include Albania, Netherlands, and Luxembourg. So these are the only 4 countries where euthanasia has been legalized. So euthanasia is also called as mercy killing or good death. So painlessly killing the victim suffering from some incurable diseases, severe pain, etc. So by himself or others, especially when the victim's life is presumed to have become unuseful. So in these situations, we will proceed with mercy killing. So this is a very extreme example I'm giving to you, but still it is worth of knowing, right? So this is called mercy killing and euthanasia. And we have different types of euthanasia now. So we have active euthanasia, passive euthanasia, involuntary euthanasia, non-voluntary. So we need not to discuss these things. So I'm just leaving it. And I want to tell a story about Nova Pathoven. So she's a young girl. When she was years old, she was multiple times sexually assaulted uh, till she's reaching 11 years old. So until she's becoming 11 years old, a person was brutally sexually abused her for many thousand times. So psychologically, Nova Petovan becomes so depressed that she don't wanna live anymore. She's perfectly all right. She don't have any brain activity, but psychologically, she became so depressed that she don't want to live anymore in this world. She is unable to recover from the state where she was brutally exposed in her childhood. She's from Dutch. So Nova Petovan plead for euthanasia in Dutch government. A very strange case happened. I don't know how the Dutch government accepted her plea in 2007. In 2019, when she's 17 years old, the Dutch government has given permission to end her life. But many people against this idea, because they are saying that it is a murder by government. This is also a really challenging situation for of Noah Patova. Here also, the patient is alive, she is conscious, but psychologically, due to her post-trauma, psychological trauma, she is unable to recover, and she was desperately want to end her life. And she came in a legalized manner. She want a legalized death. She don't want to simply suicide. She is not a coward. She is a very brave girl where she want to legally she want to die. She fought with government. She even wrote a very good book which sold million copies about her life. So all she's playing is about ending her life. And she also said a sexual abuse. Obviously, this is one of the major problem in a modern world where girls' life is not protected. The problem is not with the girls. It is a problem with the parents that are raising the boys. It is due to lack of awareness and recklessness of the parents on their sons causing these kind of brutalities across the world. So in 2019, when I was in my last days of PG, I saw this particular news and I was devastated by seeing the news that a woman from Dutch passed away by euthanasia. So this is her story. I will just see this. So yeah, there are some extreme conditions where we need to bypass few ethics for the benefit of the person. And Novus is one of the example. Not only ethics are not only for humans. When we are doing our regular profession in the lab, we need to take care of the animals too. Even they too have their own lives. Even animals also have desires. They too have the right to live. So this is slides from my previous lectures for your seniors on viruses. So for viral research, we need to cultivate the viruses in some living organisms because virus need a living cell for replication. So in the olden times, viruses are usually cultivated in animals, and the animals are brutally killed in a very inhuman way. So let me show you some of the images of animals. So these are the animals that we are using for virus inoculation or viral research, so-called. So we used animals such as monkeys, rats, rabbits, guinea pigs, even other mammals. So what about this image? Don't they have feelings? Don't they have the right to live? Who are we to torture them for our selfish and greedy needs? Who are we to torture an innocent animals? Where are the ethics? So there is a dedicated organization, PETA, stringently have a very strict rules on animal cruelty, especially when you are using an animal for any research purpose. So in order to use an animal for any research, we need to satisfy many documentations, and also we need to deal the animals in such a way where they won't they will feel less pain. So we need to sometimes there is no other choice. We need to go with the research, right? So we need to handle them in a very proper way. there should be very less suffering to the animal when we are using any animals. So even for animals also, whatever ethics that are implemented for humans are also applicable for animals. This is the thing that I want to rise here. Whatever ethics that governs humans are applicable for applicable for animals also. In fact, we too an animal from their perspective, right? So yes, ethics plays a vital role. That is what I want to tell. I don't know whether I want to whether I need to proceed with a video or not, but I want to show some video. And yeah, this is a rabbit which is used for cosmetics. So they will apply a severe drugs, not drugs, ointments on the rabbit skin, and they will see whether the rabbit developed any allergic reactions. So in order to assess the allergic reactions of any drugs or ointments, they will use rabbits. So we need to stop this animal cruelty. For animal cruelty also, the same ethics will apply. So I want to show one more video, and this is still happening in modern days. So usually whatever the main source of meat is chicken, as you know. So chickens are the most commonly used meat across the world. Ironically, only the female chicken meat will be utilized, and male meat is I don't know why, but male chickens are not tasty. That is what they used to say. So whatever chicken you are eating in the market, it is only a female. It is a female chicken only. It is not a male. But when the babies are forming, when the chicks are forming from the eggs, we cannot determine their sex. When that is why what will happen is, first we will get the babies, we will incubate the egg, we will get the babies, then we will segregate the females from males. So we will segregate males and females, and all male chickens, you know what we are going to do, male chickens, because they're useless, we can't eat them, we will mercilessly, in a very inhuman way, we will kill them. You don't know these things, but these are still happening in the modern times. Still, now we have a technology to predetermine the gender of the eggs by altering the temperature, and with the help of biotechnology, we can go with the production of only female eggs. But there are few companies, not few, there are 90% of companies are still going in the traditional way of raising chickens in the poultries, and they are mercilessly killing the baby chickens. And there is a term for this thing which is called chicken culling. So I will show a brief video of chicken culling. Definitely it will hurt you, but you need to know. You need to know all these things as it will create an awareness on you, and you will know what's happening around the world. So this is called chicken culling. See how they are killing the male chickens. So all they are male. So PETA has ferociously working on ending animal cruelty. So that's it, students. So now today we have an alternative virus cultivation, which is embryonated eggs. So we will use the baby embryos for virus cultivation. But still, this is also not right. But compared to killing a full-grown chicken, it is better to, I cannot say, but it is better to kill something which is not yet developed. A premature embryos are using for animal research. And I myself worked on what is this? We worked on oncogenes. Actually, we are working on cancer genes. So for that, we are using these embryos, and we are keeping some drugs to see whether the the drug acting on the cells of the chicken or not. So yeah. So today we are using embryonated egg as an alternative for using live animals. So we need more like this. So this embryonated egg idea was developed, was given by a scientist called Goodpasture. So Goodpasture got Nobel Prize for his contributions in using embryonated egg for viral studies. All right. So yeah. So coming to the point, students, shall we start the class now? Introduction completed. Are you listening, students?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sorry if I hurted your some of you, but you need to know these things, right? You are becoming adults. Keep in mind. All right. So coming to the point, students. So in your syllabus, the first thing we have is the scope of ethics. You already know what is the scope of ethics. So the scope of ethics is to decrease the suffering of anyone, and we need to decide the right decision, and we need to differentiate the right from wrong. We need to differentiate the good and bad, and we need to take the right decision for an overall positive things, I can say. So that is the scope of ethics. Then the second one is code of conduct. So what is code of conduct? So code of conduct means, so it is a set of rules outlining the responsibilities or proper practices of an individual or organization. So responsibilities or proper practices of an individual. For example, there is one more definition. So these are the principles, values, standards, or rules of behavior that guide the decisions, procedures, and systems of an organization in a way that contributes to the welfare to its key stakeholders or respect the rights of all constituents affected by its operations. So simply, code of conduct means these are the set of responsibilities that will be given in an organization level. For example, what is the student code of conduct? So there is something called student code of conduct. So what is student conduct? What is a student code of conduct? So what is your responsibilities in a classroom? So the responsibilities of a student in a classroom can be stated as a code of conduct of a student. So code of conduct of a student can be like this. He need to regularly attend the classes. He need to maintain his attendance. He need to dress well. He need to sit obediently in the class. He should not do any noise in the class. He need to do his works regularly. If he want to approach his teachers, he need to approach them in a dignified manner. If he want to engage in any argument, the argument need to be uh, in a respectful way. Students should not come late to the class. Students should treat the fellow students, your fellow friends, as as equal. You should not have any quarrels among the students, and you need to do your assignments and works regularly. So these are the certain code of conduct for a student. So if you are coming to the university, obviously you need to follow these rules, right? Can you come with a hoodie and some modern dress? You can't. When you are coming to university, you need to come in a formal way. When you are sitting in the classroom in front of when there is class going on, you need to stay quiet. You should not quarrel among yourself. So there are certain rules for a student also. So that can be said as a code of conduct of a student. Similarly, in an organization, organization to organization, they will have their own rules, their own principles, their own set of laws, and we need to obey their institutional laws. So that is called code of conduct. So simply, this code of conduct states we need to follow the guidelines that is given by the institution. So that guidelines can be either principles, values, standards, or behaviors or decisions that are taken in that organization. And organization to organization, code of conduct may change. For example, you cannot wear a swimsuit in my classroom, but I won't allow you to wear a swimsuit in my classroom, but you are allowed to wear a swimsuit in a swimming classroom. in a swimming organization. So according to swimming organization, so swimsuit is allowed in their code of conduct. It is allowed to wear a swimsuit, but that is not allowed in my organization when I'm teaching. Whereas I'm a university. If I'm in academics, the code of conduct of academics will be different from code of conduct of sports. So each and everything has its own code of conduct. So that is the basic definition of code of conduct. So we have two definitions. So first one is a code of conduct is a set of rules outlining the responsibilities or proper practices for an individual or organization. Or the second definition is principles or values, standards or rules of behavior that guide the decisions, procedures and systems of an organization in a way that contributes to the welfare of its stakeholders, respects the right of all constituents affected by its operations. I think you need not to write B, you can write up to here, up to A. So is this clear for everyone? Is code of conduct clear for everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So
Yes,
no
sir.
confusions.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Very good. All right. So this is code of conduct. Next, we are going to discuss about the very ethics itself. So ethics are something that will signifies moral values, how we are taking our moral values. So medical ethics. So we are going to deal with medical ethics, especially in this subject. So medical ethics means these are moral principles for registered medical practitioners, include us, in their dealings with each other and their patients and state. So how they are dealing with among themselves as a colleagues, you and your fellow lab technician, how you are dealing with your colleague, and how you are dealing with your higher authorities, and how you are dealing with your patients. So these morals principles will be given by the medical ethics. So medical ethics are especially concerned about patient safety. Okay, so yeah, so this one, as we already saw, so there are three terms: ethics, values, and morals. So ethics will guide us to tell the difference between right and wrong, whereas values will guide us to take the right decision, whereas morals will decide us to differentiate good and bad. Actually, morals and ethics are very closely related. So the ethics are the guidelines that will be changed depending upon the institution. So from institution to institution, the ethics may change. So ethics are professional dependent, whereas values are personal. So values means these are the set of these are the principles or standards of behavior. So behavior can be acquired through your personal experience, right? Yes. So ethics will be influenced by different professions, organizations, institutes, whereas values will be influenced by family, background, culture, religion, and community. Ethics can vary according to professions, as I stated. Ethics can vary from profession to profession. Ethics in a sports will be differ from ethics in a class in a academics. Ethics in a court will be differ from ethics in a another company or any other profession. So ethics will be changed from profession to profession. Whereas values can vary according to person. So from individual to individual, we may expose ourselves in a different way. So values may differ from person to person, right? So, but still we need to ensure the overall values won't degrade our personality. That is the thing that we need to ensure. That is why we need to. So I can say like this, values are inconstant. They may change frequently from person to person. So we cannot judge a person is a good or bad. So that is why we will impose ethics on him. So because we don't know what is his whether he have a good values or not. So that is why we will give a very strict set of rules of ethical rules to him. So he need to follow our ethics. So that is why we have two subjects. What type of ethics we need to follow and what type of values we need to obtain through our life, through our personal experience. So that is why we have two subjects. So in this lecture, we are discussing only about ethics. So far, you know what is code of conduct, and you know the basic definition of ethics and between ethics, values, and morals. So once again, simple definition. So ethics are rules we use to determine the right and wrong things to do in our lives. So ethics come from Greek word which is ethos. So meaning character or what a good person is. So what are the character does a good person should have? So ethos means character. So a good character ethos means it is came from Greek. So or does to have a good does to have a good character. So a person must have a good character, and that good character will be imposed by ethics. So ethics are the rules that we'll use to determine the right and wrong, right things and wrong things to do in our regular lives. So ethics came from Greek ethos, meaning character, or what a good person is or does to have a good character, according to this textbook. So is this clear for everyone, students? Any doubts so far? All right. Sorry, I'm agreeing. In the morning class, I was not prepared for the class. So in the next class, I will teach professional values in more framed way. Okay. Agreeing morning class. All right. So far, these are about ethics. All right, students. Now let us see the principles of ethics. As I stated, we already know there are totally 5 principles of ethics. So the 5 principles include autonomy, beneficence, confidentiality, do no harm, justice, A, B, C, D, J. So do no harm is sometimes in other textbooks, it is also said as a non-malfeasance. So non-malfeasance or do no harm is same, right? So this is all about the principles of ethics. So let us see in detail about the principles of ethics. So what is autonomy? So autonomy means, as we already discussed, respect for persons. Each and everyone has his own rights, right? We should not manhandle anyone. He has his own right. If he said, I don't want an injection, you need to respect his decision, because he is completely authorized on his body. He can do whatever he wants. Who are we to manhandle him, no matter whatever the situation is? So autonomy means it is respect for persons. So humans are means to unto themselves and not to means to an end. If right, so we cannot simply, these are the philosophical words. Usually ethics will be studied in philosophy. So unto, these are very depth words. I mean philosophical words, I can say. A simple terminology is he has his own rights to know whether it is a good or bad, and we need to respect his feelings, right? So that is all about autonomy. So this encompasses the right to be free to make choices about your body. So the patient has his own will on whatever he want to do. He has complete freedom on his body. If he want to give a blood, he can give. If he don't want to give a blood, that is also fine. He has complete authority on his body. That is called autonomy, right? So this is all about autonomy. Then second one is beneficence. So beneficence means no matter whatever we are doing, everyone should get benefit by our actions. So obligation to contribute to person's welfare. We should not obligate any person's welfare. That means we should not say only this thing should get to this person, this thing should not get to other person. We should not separate the people. Everyone should get the benefits, right? That is called a beneficence. So interventions and provisions should provide benefit directly to the patient. Yeah, this is very important. Interventions and provisions should provide benefits directly to the patient. Sometimes what happens, from the upper organization, they will say for every patient, please give 100 rupees, right? Now they given totally 10,000 rupees to you, and they said, please distribute this money to the patients. So they said you to distribute 100 rupees to each patient. You need to give the complete 100 rupees to the patient. Mean in the between, you should not take some money out of that 100. Like you should not take some 20 rupees and giving 80. Unfortunately, in politics, it will be reverse. They will take 80 and they will give only 20. And I don't know what about, I don't know the rules of ethics to politicians. That is why they are called politicians, right? They have rights to outlaw all the ethics, idiots. I'm sorry, but yeah. So beneficence states that every patient should get equal benefits. You should not do any mediocre business, right? You should not show any partiality among them. Everyone has right to completely benefited by whatever they need to get. So this focuses on doing things that are benefit to another. It requires positive steps to help and not merely avoiding doing harm, right? So this is all about beneficence. Then non-maleficence, as I stated, non-maleficence means, can anyone say, students, what is non-maleficence? What is non-maleficence? What is the other word for it?
Do not harm.
Very good. Yeah, do not harm. So at any cost, very good, students. Yeah. So at any cost, we should not
do
harm.
not harm.
Yes, very good. So yeah. So non-maleficence means do not harm. At any cost, we should not harm anyone at any situation. So obligation not to inflict harm on other persons. Harm is to be avoided or minimized. Sometimes we should harm, right? Sometimes like we need to give cannula to the person. We need to keep a very, very big needle into the person hand. That may hurt to them, but still we need to insert the cannula in such a way where there will be less pain to the patient. Already he is in sick, he is in a painful situation. So we need to care them. We should not cause any harm. And underlying tenet of medical professions and mission statements. By the way, students, I completely forgot about this. When you are studying medicine, the last day of your medicine in any medical colleges, they need to take an oath, a promise, and that promise is called Hippocratic oath. Hippocratic is the father of medicine, if you know. So Hippocratic said this oath, and even today we are still obeying his oath. I'm still used to get that that proud feeling when I'm walking through my in my college. When I'm walking, we have very big statue of Hippocrates, and it will have a very big name, Hippocrates and Hippocrates oath, and we have 10 oaths, 10 principles that we need to obey. So he used to say that we should not harm the patient. You should love the patient. Like that, he given 10 points. So Hippocratic oath is a standardized ethics in medicine, especially. So the ethics will go back to Hippocrates, especially in medicine. He given a very good laws, a very beautiful laws actually. Still, there is no obligations of that loss. He haven't showed any bias. Very good. All right. So that is all about non-maleficence. Then last and finally is our justice. So justice, as you know, justice means we need to justify the situation. Sometimes a right justice need to get to the right person at right time, right? For example, our husband and wife situation where the husband took the sleeping pills and he's unconscious and wife telling him to kill. At that time, we need to take the right justice, whether the person getting a justice or not. If you just leave the person alone, even that is also a bad thing. Sometimes this will happen. They won't even involve in the situation. They will feel like, oh, if I involve in this, I want to engage. I need to do something rather than engaging. Why should I go there? And some people will not even come and they will simply ignore and they will go. Even that is also a violation of it. And that will go to the level of values actually. Are you really doing? You need to reconsider yourself, whatever actions you are doing. If you are seeing someone who is harmed on the road, someone who is injured on the road, and you know how to stop the blood of that person, but you thought, why should I waste my time? Let me go. Even if you're thinking at that much personal level, you're violating the ethics. Keep in mind, students, there is someone in the sky always watching whatever you are doing. You may escape from this situation, but you cannot escape from him. So, yeah, you need to justify. You need to be always morally obedient. You cannot simply ignore anyone, knowingly, at least. If you don't know, that is fine. But if you know and you are not helping them means you're not a human. Yeah, that is what the ethics states actually. Yeah, so these are the principles of medical ethics, students: autonomy, beneficence, non-malfeasance, and justice. And sometimes they're using a very big word called principalism, but I don't want to go up to the principalism levels. If we go there, no, we will submerge ourselves in the ocean of ethics. So ethics is a very big subject actually. Okay, so that's it. So in the next lecture, we can discuss in detail about autonomy, beneficence, confidentiality, and non-malfeasance, right? So thank you very much, students. If you have any doubts, you can ask me now. Now, question and answer session. If you have any doubts, you can ask me. You want any discuss? Are you feeling like something is not right in this lecture, like something need to be rectified? Students speak. Okay.
No, sir,
Let me
everything is good.
tell you a, yeah. I want a very healthy discussion. Okay. By the way, I want to thank my professor, Dr. Tanya. When I was doing my PG, I used to have a professor called Dr. Tanya, and she used to teach ethics for us. A very nice professor. Yeah, a very good professor. We got a lot of experience from her. And one day it is a debate session in the classroom. So both the classroom was split into two categories, and we have a discussion on vegetarian and vegan and non-veg. What is your point, students? I want your opinion. Is eating meat is right? So I was on meat eating group, and other group is a vegetation group. Okay, fine. So ethically, if you see, hurting an animal and eating the animal meat is a wrong thing, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
eating. Yeah, but what about a vegetarian?
Eating is wrong.
Eating meat is something ethically not good because we are hurting an animal. But at the same time, I got this idea in my mind. So what I thought is, see, um, kindly mute yourself, students, please. Let me mute all. Okay, got it. So I will tell you a concept, and you just tell me one thing. There is an animal. Okay, animal is alive. Okay, I cannot say animal. There is a living organism, and the organism is alive, and that living organism kept in a very boiling water or oil, a very high temperature oil, and they are cooking the living organism, and they ate the living organism. This is one case. Second case is they killed the animal. So they kill the manual. They kill the animal in such a way where the animal experienced less pain. So animal was dead. Now they started cooking a dead animal. Which one is better? These are the only two options we have. We need to eat either dead animal or we need to eat a live animal. What will you prefer, students? A living organism or dead organism? Dead organism, right? Dead organism. Let me tell
Yes, sir. Did.
you, very good. A dead organism, because it is not feeling any pain now. So we can eat it, but we cannot eat a living organism. Right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Who said no? If you said no, then you need to rectify, okay, justify it. Okay. Listen to me, students. I will tell a organism and you need to tell what is it. I will give some clues. it is a organism. It is a very alien organism. Okay. It can able to harvest energy from a star that is million kilometers away. It can able to penetrate itself into the soil so deeply. It can able to spread its solar panels, and it can able to harvest energy from a star which is million kilometers away. You know what is that organism? And this organism won't. This organism does not have respiratory system. This organism does not have circulatory system. This organism does not have even any sensories. Is there any organism such? There is an
They are
organism.
plants, sir.
Yes, obviously they are plants. So obviously plants are living organisms, right? They are living. They are growing.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So
Yes, sir.
I'm feeling like, and even if you plug the plant outside, still the plant is alive. Plants are alive. Even if you plug them, they will alive for almost 2 to 3 days. And you will cook them. Consider that. Thank you very much, students. So is eating plants is correct?
They don't show any pain, sir. I don't think they show us pain. The ethics
They are living.
will
They
follow
are
the
living
ethics if we
organisms.
see pain. But
Okay,
we
let me
can't
come to
see
one
this.
point. Let me say one thing. Even either it is an animal or it is a plant, both of us have we are eukaryotes. We have the same cells. The only difference between our cells is we have a plasma membrane. They have a chitin cellulose membrane. That is the only difference. And both of us have both ribosomes are same, mitochondria same, cytoplasm same, lysozymes same. In fact, banana and human genome, if you see the banana genome and human genome, 50% banana genes are present in human genes. We are 50% related each, actually. We are all living organisms. I don't know the point of vegan or non-vegan. According to from evolution point of view, we are came from a meat-eating animals. If you see the lineage of mammals, the mammals are evolved from a meat-eating animal, meat-eating lineage rather than a vegetative. Anyway, that will be go to any controversial, but still, we need to reconsider about the ethics in eating plants also. Then, thank you very much, students. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yes. Let me
Thank
download
you,
the
sir.
attendance. Okay, no controversies. This is first for thought provoking. That's it. Don't think about this.
Okay, sir.
Okay, see you on Monday. Let me
Okay.
go to the meeting.
Okay.
Yes, see you.
Okay, sir.
Bye, bye, bye.
Bye, sir.
Bye, sir.
Okay, sir. Bye.
Bye, sir.
Yes, see you, students. See
Bye,
you.
sir.
Have a good day. Good, happy weekend.
Bye, sir.
Same to you, sir.
Yes.
And class fast.